Hello, friends, and welcome to your daily Detroit sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. It is Friday, September 19th, 2025. I am Jer Stays coming to you live from an alley in downtown Detroit. Joining me to my left, live from the alley. Remember the time this alley was not a place to be, Norris Howard?
Yes, I do. I remember when it was just an alley.
And now it is absolutely beautiful. It is Parker's Alley, correct, Randy Walker?
That is correct. And now actually from his left.
Yes, actually from my left. Or your right. Anyway, directions. They're hard. This is your Daily Detroit. We just got back from the press preview of the new Apple store on Woodward Avenue. Two of us went. One of us also has opinions.
Yes, that's right.
And I want to make sure that you're a part of this, Norris, as well, because you have such a background in technology and gaming journalism beyond just being the Prince of Brightmoor. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to mention about the Apple Store is that there was a lot of visual work put in, even when you look at it from the storefront and looking at the details now that they're complete on Woodward Avenue, from the small bollards out front to the type of cherry trees that they want to use as a photo opportunity, as they say, to like soften the background or whatever. There are just so many little details on this DJ Healy building built in 1910. Norris, as a downtown resident, I mean, I feel like that's something that you appreciate.
Yeah, I like the fact that the streetscape and the frontage is not interrupted by, some gigantic, gaudy, all-white edifice. They tried their best to maintain what was already there, and I think that's fantastic. Like, at the end of the day, this entire block, for the most part, has been the same looking since it was rehabbed in the 2000s, and so it looks fantastic. And I'm really excited to just see a lot of people come into and fro the building. I think it's great.
I think it was a really nice touch. They kept what they call the window transom, which for building nerds, those are the windows that are actually above the awning. They kept that, which lets more light in. And then they made custom awnings. They fabricated awnings to actually echo the edge of an iPhone, which I thought was pretty cool, Randy Walker.
Yeah, they said they really wanted to lay into the history of the building, but they also, have to add their own Apple touch to it.
Yeah. And I think it fits really well into the space, just looking in, just seeing how it was. Randy, when we got there and just they did the welcome thing, there is just something about the Apple brand where they lean all the way in, and you can see why they're so successful. And also ideas I think that other retailers could do to really care about their retail space more than just open up a storefront. But even if you don't have the money of Apple, going in and just leaning into that customer experience side.
Yeah, you can tell this place is Apple, even though it feels and looks different from the, say, Apple store in 12 Oaks or the Apple store in Somerset. You can still tell that this store is an Apple store. The way they kind of are precisely laying out each of the devices they sell, the way they're decorating with the Apple products themselves, it just feels Apple. And you still get this Apple experience even though it looks different from some of their other stores.
So you go to Apple stores more than I do. What is different about this versus those other locations? Now, I will say in the presentation, they talked about how this is a community store.
Yeah, so the first thing you notice when you walk in right away is all of the wood paneling. That is, you see some wood in the other Apple stores, like the display tables and things like that, but this is wood everywhere. There's wood from the ceiling. The wood beams in the centers, those are kind of a unique twist too. A lot of the Apple stores are more wide open, just visual, sight lines are unobstructed, but with those pillars there, they didn't really shy away from them. They built those pillars out, so those are nice solid wood pillars. And then the back wall where they have the pickup area and the Genius Bar, that's all wood paneling as well. At Somerset, I believe it's all like silver metallic.
Yeah, we were just over at Mad Cat Coffee around the corner here. It reminded me of what I think of as the old Apple Store design with the white floating tables and that kind of thing. Norris Howard, when we're talking about how Apple relates to the rest of the retail landscape, what do you think is the importance of having this here and having this open now?
Yeah, because like me, I don't care about Apple. I really don't. But I think what makes it important is Apple is one of those sort of anchor brands that allows an entire retail space or an entire retail high street to have legitimacy. Foot Locker, Apple, you think Zara, Uniqlo, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. You know, so there are certain brands that when you see them on a particular street, it's like, oh, okay, cool, I can get everything on this street. Starbucks, like I'm gonna get everything on this street. And you know, obviously, a lot of those are just big brand, big box things. And I know a lot of our listeners and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you know, I much prefer to spend time with small businesses. I much prefer to spend my money with small businesses. But at the end of the day, the small businesses are actually, depending on the product, a lot of the small businesses can benefit from the additional foot traffic that something like an Apple Store is going to bring. You know, I know that people probably over here at Madcap or, you know, Rebel Nail or any of the stores that we're next to now are actually pretty excited because people are going to go to the Apple Store. They're going to walk around. Oh my God, what's down this alley? I've never been down there before. Oh, let me go look at this thing. Let me go look at that thing. That's kind of what you want out of retail space, and the Apple Store here only helps.
Yeah, if I think about it, we're just half a block off of Woodward, and what we're looking at down the row of this alley is a bunch of small businesses like your Bon Bon Bons, your Rebel Nels, the Aroma Lab. That kind of stuff can't really exist on the first thing, but on the second tier, it really helps enable that. And I think sometimes we forget, because we've been through so much, and I'm a longtime resident myself, that in functional cities with functional retail, this is kind of how it layers together. It's an ecosystem. It's not just about only small or only large.
Yeah, exactly. And that's sort of why you have something like an Apple Store right on Woodward, and why you got to continue to build out the retail landscape of downtown, because again, we don't have 100% capacity in all the storefronts downtown. There's still plenty of open space, especially off Woodward. There's a few open spaces that already are still on Woodward. And, you know, I look forward to seeing, you know, how successful this Apple Store is, because that's going to be then a signal to some of the other big brands and some of the other big stores that they're going to be able to come down here, open up locations, and those locations are going to be successful.
You know, regular Friday host Devin O'Reilly, we saw him earlier today. He couldn't join us, but he made a point, and he's a big Apple user. He talks about, like, well, why do I need to go to an Apple Store? And Randy, we call you the engineer of alcohol and audio here at Daily Detroit for a reason. So for people who don't know, other than buying a laptop, right? And theoretically, you could buy a laptop online or some AirPods. Why do people go to Apple stores?
Sure, there's plenty of reasons to go to an Apple Store, and even if you are buying a laptop online, you still might want to go in-store and actually physically feel the product. Is the 2.8 laptop as light as you thought it was, or would you be okay carrying the 3.5-pound laptop? Is the screen size actually as big as you thought it was when you see it in person? When you read the screen, is it readable from the angle you usually sit at? You can't really tell that from just ordering online. You can also order a cell phone online, and you can order through, with your carrier through Apple directly. So you could order your AT&T or your Verizon or your T-Mobile phone through Apple and still go pick it up at the Apple Store. So you don't have to go to your carrier store to get it. There's also, you could try out the new Apple Vision Pro, see what that experience is like, see if you want to drop the $3,600 on it or not.
I'm going to say for me...
No. The answer is please don't.
No from me too, but it's still a kind of a cool experience just to go and try it out and see it.
Look, I look at it as a beta project for people who have got the money, right? Sure. I think some years down the line we're going to see something amazing from them.
Yeah, I think tech pundits still say that it's cool technology, but there's just not enough content for it yet. But other reasons you go to the Apple Store, you're downtown here and your phone's about to die. You pop in and bump a charge, or you buy a charger and a cable while you're in there. You could stop in to get your product repaired because you have Apple Care. You just come in, they take a look at it, fix it or swap it. You could also, you're just shopping and you impulse decide you want to buy an Apple Watch.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say is also that we got to consider that I think is a new phenomenon, or a newer phenomenon, is we have to realize that we are more of a tourist destination than we were previously, and there's going to be people who are here for work or here for play, who are not at home, who don't have all of their accessories, don't have all their accoutrement, and maybe a lot of people can figure these things out for themselves by having an Apple Store right downtown where most of our hotels in the city are. That's going to help those people as well, because, hey, man, I lost an AirPod, but I got to go pick one up. Oh, man, the laptop's going crazy, and I got a presentation over here at GM, and I need it to work right now today. Like, that's what this is all about. So it's only a net positive for me, even though I can't stand Apple with every fiber of my being. And you know, I just hope that the people who do like Apple and care about it and, you know, want to shop there, that they had the opportunity to do so.
Well, and for me, I think about things like the classes, right? So, and when they did the press preview demonstration, they had like a little demonstration about how you could draw a selfie of yourself and things like that, showing how the products actually work for folks. Because one of the things that I've learned the longer I've been doing this project is like, I assume everybody knows everything, and I really need to not do that, right?
Yeah, they call the program Today at Apple, and it's lessons from how the basics of how to use your new phone that you just purchased to, like you said, giving lessons on how to draw with the iPad, just how to get more out of your devices.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it is now going to be open. Probably by the time you hear this, 5 o'clock on Friday is expected. There's going to be quite the rush. It'll be interesting to see the longer-term impacts over the next few months. We'll keep an eye on it. I know a lot of listeners are concerned about things like parking, but I also know that outside of ball games, we have a lot of parking capacity here. But it is going to be a little crazy, you know. I see okay, if you're watching the video, you would see Norris Howard put his hands out, like kind of with a shrug emoji. What's the shrug emoji for?
Just walk, bro. Like, park and walk. I don't want to hear no complaints about parking. We have so much parking down here. Park in the Z lot and walk.
Even if you park at MGM, it's less than a mile walk.
That's too far. Nobody's parking at MGM. But the point is,
You could do it for free, though.
That's true. But the point is, get off your butt and walk.
A block or two.
Yes.
The Z Garage is actually quite nice.
That's where I'm parked today.
All right. Well, we are going to wrap it up for this episode of Your Daily Detroit. If you're going to the Apple store, if you've got thoughts about retail in downtown, you know, send us a note, dailydetroit@gmail.com. We're going to do an episode soon with Norris and Evan O'Reilly talking about what already some of your all's feedback was on the retail you want to see downtown. We had more than 100 responses for it. I'm also going to put something in the newsletter about it, which you can sign up for at dailydetroit.com. All right, with that, thank you so much for listening to Your Daily Detroit. Thank you for listening to us all week. Thank you to Cheyenne Nosrini behind the scenes. Also, thanks to all of you who are listening. With that, I'm Jer Stays.
Avast, I be Randy Walker.
That is because it is National Talk Like a Pirate Day, as much as Norris did not want us to mention that. And Norris Howard.
Bye. Goodbye.
That was... All right, take care of each other, and we'll talk next week.